Good morning. This is Friday, May 26th, and a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. It is now 10 o'clock. I would ask that Mr. Cardenas, Ms. Hahn, Mr. Huizar, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Reyes, Mr. Rosendahl, Mr. Smith, Mr. Wesson, Mr. Weiss, and Mr. Zine please make their way down to City Council chambers so we can begin our council meeting as soon as possible. A special thank you to Mr. LeBonge, Ms. Perry, and Mr. Parks for being here on time this morning.
going to get a headache from twisting my head around.
I'd like to introduce Councilmember Tom LaBonge for our first presentation this morning. And if I could ask everyone to be quiet in the chambers so we can begin our presentations. If we could please have quiet in the chambers. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. LaBonge for a special presentation and introduction.
Thank you very much. We have some special guests right here. Please give a Los Angeles City Council welcome to this great delegation from Shanghai, China.
欢迎上海代表团来到洛杉矶访问。
And we thank you so much. We welcome you that they're here. They're learning about school facilities, which will be important to our next presentation. They're learning about parks. They're learning about the port. And they're also learning about the Olympic Games. So on the occasion of your visit to the great city of Los Angeles, I would like to present this each and every one of you, Wang Shenglong, for his Wang Liming, Wang Mangguan, and also we want Zhu Zhangwen. We want to welcome you all. Give them a big hand and a welcome to the great city of Los Angeles.
欢迎中国上海代表团来到我们洛杉矶的访问。我们洛杉矶有很多很好的教育，还有呢文化体育方面的设施，以及举办过奥林匹克运动会。
And in translation, they love Sunset Boulevard, the beautiful sunsets, and the great weather. Okay.
OK，
Sit right there. Thank you very much. Welcome.
忘了到我们好莱坞去。
Right there, right there, right there. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
So
LaBonge.
it's so
Our next
nice to have this
presentation.
delegation here, and they are visiting school sites. And one of the greatest persons who we've come in contact to in our days is leaving the Los Angeles Unified School District. Please welcome to the podium Jim McConnell, the great, very special Chief Facilities Executive for the Los Angeles Unified School District. Give him a bigger hand, folks. Give him a bigger hand. In April of 2001, he joined the district to take charge of the largest school construction project and modernization in the history of the United States. Jim McConnell, a native of Houston, was a 1975 graduate of the Naval Academy. He was commissioned in an incident civil engineering course and served in a variety of assignments, including public works and constructions, contracting, various deployments within the Seabees, and 2 other Seabee-related tours. In 1977, he attended graduate school at the University of Pittsburgh, where he earned a master's degree in civil engineering. Then in 1997, he graduated from Carnegie Mellon Program for Executives as a registered professional engineer in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In 2004, Jim was one of the governing magazine's Public Officials of the Year. And in 2005, he was named Person of the Year by the Construction Management Association of America. Los Angeles is at a loss. LA Unified is at a loss for Jim's work. I am so proud to say that when I drive the city of Los Angeles and I see the construction of new schools, I know it's behind the hard work, drive, and dedication of Jim McConnell. And before he left the district, I wanted to honor him here and bring him before the august body of the City Council to salute him, because I know many of you have worked with him on school site locations throughout the city of Los Angeles. So therefore, by adoption of this resolution, the Los Angeles City Council commends Jim McConnell for a spectacular job that he has done for LA Unified. Congratulations to you and your beautiful family. His wife Ann is right here, and the young son Max. Give them a hand. Ann and Max too. Come up here, buddy. Say a few words.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you,
And
City
can I
Council.
stop you before you speak, because we do have a
Yes.
council member that would like to say
Oh,
something.
okay.
Councilmember Reyes.
Good morning, Jim. Welcome to City Hall. Welcome to the family for joining us. I just want to thank the family for letting us borrow Jim for all those hours. So many incredible events have occurred because of his presence in the process. Many schools have been built, in particular in my district, a place in which thousands and thousands of kids would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, have their hot drinks at a corner, wait for a bus, and travel 2 hours, hour and a half, just to get to school, come back late at night, miss out on their family, miss out on the neighborhood. And I seriously want to say that because of Jim and his work, that has changed for thousands of kids. So Matt, Your father's a great man. Don't forget this day. He's done a great job for the city. I want to thank you, Jim, for all your hard work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And before you have a chance to speak, Jim, too, I want to add my congratulations and sorrow that you're leaving the school district. We had a chance to have breakfast just a week or so ago, but I know that you're just around the corner, so to speak, in what you're going to be doing and where you live, and that you've kind of grown to love, you and your family, Los Angeles, and know that you're going to continue to help us build more schools, and I think this is historic in what you have been able to do as the leader there, and you will be sorely missed, not only by the school district, but those of us in the city.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's now yours. Now your turn.
Okay, well,
You get to talk.
I have come to love the city of LA, and we are happy to be staying in the city of LA. When I took this job 5 years ago, I heard two things from people I knew and people I didn't know. One thing I heard was, "You're crazy," and the other thing I heard was, "It's impossible to build schools in LA." And I've been able to refute at least one of those charges by building 70 schools in the last 5 years for 68,000 kids. And we're going to keep that process going until we deliver 150 schools by the year 2012. Been very proud to serve in this capacity, and I thank all of you for your support and cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, members. Thank you. And his friends for the Unified District, please stand and be recognized, all the whole family there. Thank you, Madam President.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Wesson for a special presentation.
Good morning, Madam President and members. Now, Ms. Han, you've dealt with crocodiles or alligators or what have you. We're going to try to get 2 pets adopted that come from your district. Could you help me with this? Obviously, if you could deal with, is it Harry? Reggie? You could deal with 5 months. Miss Trudy, come on in. We have a 5-month-old cat that comes from Miss Han's district. She's shed, so you may just want to, you just may want to pet her. Well, it's hot, but her name is Sheba, and she's a domestic short hair. She's only 5 months old, only 5 months old. She's looking for a home. She's been spayed and microchipped, and she is ready to go today. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous cat named Sheba, 5 months old, little kitty. Also, to kind of change things up, if I get you to shift over here, this is Sergio. Sergio is not the bunny. This is Sergio. Sergio understands rabbits a tad better than I, so I suggested that Sergio would carry the rabbit up here at the insistence of Councilman Parks, because rabbits are known to leave surprises. So if he does, I want Sergio to catch that surprise. But anyway, we have a rabbit who's real, I call it Jack, but they tell me the real name is Bunny. She's 18 months, he is, well then if it's a he, we are gonna change his name to Jack. He's 18 months, he's sterilized, he's called a standard short hair, and he's ready to go. So please, if anybody out there needs a companion animal, give us a call at 888-452-7381. Again, 888-452-7381. Thank you. Now, I do dogs, so now I'm just a dog lover.
That's a big old thing.
Now I want to bring Sasha, who came from Mr. Reyes's district. Oh, look at this little daddy's baby. Look at daddy's little baby. I know somebody wants this little, Sasha is 2 months old. Sasha's 2 months old, and give Daddy a kiss. Huh, Sasha? Anyway, Sasha is 2 months old. She's a mixed shepherd. They don't think she's going to get too big. She'll probably be mid-size. She's microchipped, she's sterilized, and she's looking for a home. Look at this beautiful, beautiful. So please, if anybody would love to take Sasha home, call 888-452-7381. And if you call in and the animals that we've shown you today are gone, don't worry. We have hundreds in our 6 shelters throughout the great city of Los Angeles. But now, who could resist this? Look at that face, not my face. Look at this face. A lot of people could resist my face, but not Sasha's. Anyway, thank you, Madam President and members. Oh,
You have one more, don't you? A
Chief
cat?
Parks, did you want this? No, we would cut his mic off. Anyway, Sasha's looking for a home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Weston, are you ready for your next presentation? Mr. Zine was next, but we're not ready yet, so we'll...
Yes, I do. Okay, the kitty has a home, ladies and gentlemen. The kitty already has a home. Anyway, there's a joke, Madam President and members, that a guy was walking down the street in New York, and he goes to a cop and he says, "How do you get to Carnegie Hall?" And the cop says, "Practice, practice, practice." Well, I'm proud to present to you from the great high school, Dorsey High School, in the district that I represent, a group of young people who know their way to Carnegie Hall. For us as people, for African Americans, Carnegie Hall was a place where we were not allowed to perform. And to see that times have changed and a group of talented young people from the district that I represent actually went to Carnegie Hall, actually performed. In fact, I've never been to Carnegie Hall, but they have done it. They've done it big. Now, today we're not going to ask them to sing. I think today we're not. No. Today we sing their praises for the accomplishments that they've done. They were champions here in our local area, and they were part of a select group of individuals that had the opportunity to go to Carnegie Hall. Many of you may have read the articles or saw some of the coverage on the television. So what I'd like to do at this point, once I get some of that cat off of me, what I'd like, or is it the rabbit, Mr. Parks? What I'd like to do at this point is to bring up the choir director, Marilyn Payne, and have her say a few words. Marilyn, let's give them a round of applause.
Good morning. On behalf of the Dorsey High School Choir, the principal, Mr. Barterson, my assistant, Rod Hines, we'd like to say to the city of Los Angeles, thanks for your support. People from all over the district that cross all ethnic boundaries, all religious boundaries, supported us in our effort to go to Carnegie Hall. And we'd just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
At this time, I'd like to present you with the resolution. In fact, Mr. Parks, why don't you come up and we'll both do this. Is Miss Perry around? We're going to put you in the middle.
You guys got to break out in song. Just give me a little. Just give me something.
We'll give you a little bit
Give me
of something.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on behalf of my colleagues and I, we'd like to present the great Dorsey Dons with a commendation from the greatest city in the nation.
Amen.
You know, Chief Parks is a tad bit sterner than I am, and even though they are performing later, he has made a suggestion that they hum a few bars, and they're going to do at least that. Let's listen to the Dursey Dons, wherever you want them. Follow Miss Perry.
Go all the way around. Go around, go around. Make a circle.
Hey, you guys are on television too, so smile. Smile. Look like you just came back from Carnegie Hall.
You guys did a good job with the Legacy ladies.
Yeah,
It was
the
wonderful.
chief was telling me that. Okay.
Good morning, evening, friends. It's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say, Camino was a disaster. Could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. Is that love's in need of a love today? Don't delay, sin just didn't right away. You know that hate is going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Love's in need of love. Love's in need of love. Love's in need of love today.
Thank you. And also we have with us today the principal, Mr. Bartlettson is here. Where are you? Wave so people can see you on Channel 35. Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. Go out.
Thank you, Mr. Wesson. Colleagues, I would like to call this meeting to order. So, Madam Clerk.
Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Padilla, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Westenstein, Garcetti, 13 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. First order of business. Colleagues, we will go back to our presentations. We just want to run through those. We're just going to call items special. Madam Clerk.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Reyes moves. Mr. Rosendahl seconds.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Padilla moves, and Mr. Smith seconds.
First items on the agenda, Madam President, are items noticed for public hearings, items 1 through 6. They are street lighting ordinances, and I believe there are no cards on them.
There's a card on item number 3. That was special number 3. Okay. So the items now before us again are items 1 through
1 through 6.
1 through 6. Any specials? If not, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
13 ayes.
That item's been approved. Next order?
Next items, Madam President, are items for which public hearings have been held, items 7 through 15. On item number 15, a report has been submitted and distributed to the council members.
Great. Any specials, colleagues? 14 by Mr. Parks. Any other specials? If not, Madam Clerk, open the roll, Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
13 eyes.
Those items have been approved. Next item.
Next items are items for which public hearings have not been held. Items 18 through 39, 10 votes are required for consideration, and there are substitute motions on items 23 and 25, and I believe those are in the process of being distributed to the council members.
So we'll hold those items on the desk, item 23 and 25, until we have those motions before us. We do have a card on item number 36. Did this go up? It went to 39, correct?
Yes, Madam President.
Okay. Any other specials, colleagues? Any other specials? If not, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
13 eyes.
Those items have been approved. Next order.
The next item on the regular agenda is item number 40, and that's an item notice for public hearing. It is a public convenience or is a necessity in Council District 2, and the recommendation for council action is to deny without prejudice.
Yes, I believe we're fine with that item, the deny without prejudice. So we will go forward on item number 40. That's in my district. So Madam Clerk, open the roll on that item. Close the roll. Tabulate the votes.
13 eyes.
Item's been approved. Next order.
That completes the items on the on the regular agenda. And the substitute motions have been distributed if council wishes to take those up at this time.
We will take item number 23 and number 25 with the substitute motions. Any specials on those two items? If not, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
13 eyes.
Those items have been approved.
Okay, now the regular agenda is completed except for 14 and 36, which were called special.
Okay, and if we just recess the regular meeting and go into the special meeting, so we can go through that real quickly.
Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Padilla, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Westenstein, Garcetti, 13 members present, and a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, first order of business.
The first item on the agenda is a placeholder type item. There is no veto, but that was just for council's information in case there was one that was submitted. So there's no action is required on that.
No action. Okay, thank you.
And on special meeting number 2, IGR met on that this morning, and I believe a committee report is in the process of being distributed, or in the process of being written.
And I know Mr. Padilla wanted to call that item special as well. Item will be called special.
And on the special meeting, items 3 through 5 are items for which public hearings have not been held, and I believe there is a card on number 3, and it is a parcel map.
Well, item number 3 will be held special.
And that would leave before council 4 and 5.
Okay, any specials on 4 and 5? If not, Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
13 eyes.
Those items have been approved. Next item.
That completes the special meeting, other than the 2 items that are called special. And do you wish to recess and go back to the regular meeting?
Recess the special and go back to the regular meeting. And I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Zine for our next presentation.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to be joined by representatives from the Los Angeles City Fire Department, including our fire chief and command staff, for a farewell. But you're too young to be farewell. Beverly Sims. Beverly's going to retire from the fire department May 28th after 35 years of service to the people of the city of Los Angeles. Beverly was born in Memphis, Tennessee, May 18th. Should I give the year?
Sure.
1951. Well, you know, women never want to tell their age. She moved to, Janice Hahn told me that, women never want to tell their age. She moved to Buffalo, New York with her family in 1956. In 1960, she moved to Los Angeles on a Greyhound bus, graduated from Washington High School, attended Los Angeles Community Colleges, El Camino College, East Los Angeles College, began her city career with the Los Angeles Police Department, Records Identification Division, October 28, 1969. Transferred to Personnel Department, Employee Verification, December 10th, 1972. Worked with the Department of Water and Power, Building Operations and Maintenance, April 7th, 1986. Successfully appointed to the Los Angeles Fire Department on May 7, 1978, and served the department for over 26 years. demonstrated exemplary interpersonal skills under a highly stressful emergency and non-emergency situations throughout her city service career. She plans to move to Dallas, Texas. Let's hear it for Dallas, Texas. And enjoy her anticipated retirement. But wait, she's not going to really retire. She's taken the 9/11 dispatcher exam, and she's passed that, and she might accept a position in Dallas, Texas as 9/11 dispatcher. Her career just within the fire department, Fire Prevention Bureau, public assemblage, schools and churches, OCD, ambulance liaison unit, emergency services, disaster preparedness, supply and maintenance, and finally, the Chief of Staff to the Chief of Los Angeles City Fire Department. And that's why it's sad to say retirement, but after all the years that you've dedicated to the people of Los Angeles and all the different departments, 35 years, we wish you farewell, and you've got many of those that have worked with you that are going to miss you here joining us this morning, and we're going to have a chance to hear from some of them. So I'm going to turn it over to our fire chief.
Thank you, Councilman. It is a pleasure to acknowledge Beverly for her 35 years of service with the city, but particularly for what she's done on the fire department. And we are going to miss her. She was her last assignment was directly in my office as Chief of Staff Secretary, and so we've had a chance to see her every day and visit with her every day. And I said kiddingly to Councilman Parks, I knew it was time for her to retire. She had a revelation she made to me the other day. She thought Councilman Parks was the most handsomest man she'd ever seen. So I'll stop at that while I'm ahead. But we do appreciate the council taking the time to recognize Beverly and for all the work and the years of service she's provided to the city of Los Angeles. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Beverly.
But before Beverly gets to speak, Beverly, I'm up here. Before you get to speak, Mr. Parks would like to say a few words.
Maybe you should come over and give her a hug, too, huh? Come on, let's give her a hug.
I'll be able to finish up as soon as I finish speaking.
All right.
No, Beverly, I just wanted to stand up and say thank you for 35 years. And I don't think people realize 35 years ago when they say you were working R&I, that was the only job that they allowed you to work in Parker Center. And it was an old joke at that time that if you were minority, you never pushed the button above the second floor. And that was a truism. And so you broke down those barriers along with a number of other people. Then to retire as a chief of staff for a fire chief is a remarkable transition, and no one would have perceived that in 1960s. And I think that's the kind of thing that's important, that we not forget where we came from, because so many times people believe civil rights only occurred in Memphis and the march in Atlanta and all those things. Tremendous number of barriers, particularly for females, happen right here in the city of Los Angeles. And I don't think people realize just what that meant, because having been in Parker Center where people would automatically push the second floor if they happen to look and see a minority on the elevator, not ever perceiving that you might work on the 6th floor, which was kind of like the inner sanctum of the police department. But that's the kind of thing I think is so important, that you've broken down barriers, and you did not end up on the front page of the paper suing people. You just day-to-day worked and created an environment to where people understood quality and character was important. They promoted you because of your qualifications, and then you left a legacy of people that you've helped. And so I want to say thank you for that, having grown up in that same era. And I just also want to say, even though your chief was a little bit concerned that you liked me, I'm going to say thank you very much anyway. And I'm going to come over and hug you.
Mr. Labange.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zine. I was out of the room right there, and I know we're taking a picture right there. Beverly, thank you for your service, and I just want to say how impressed I was to see your family, your co-workers, and friends and past co-workers who came to honor you with that wonderful retirement luncheon. And as Councilmember Parks spoke, and I know the others that spoke are around you. You're truly a credit to the city family, and have a great retirement and enjoy, and come back and volunteer, because you're the type of former city employee who would make a difference and volunteer after a year or two of doing your own thing. Come back and volunteer and help this city again. Thank you very much, Beverly.
Beverly, you finally get to speak. It's your turn.
Thank you to the council. Thank you, Councilmember Zine. And thank you to the chiefs in my department. I've had a wonderful career. I've been blessed to sustain a career of 35 years. Many people that I've known dropped out and fell by the wayside, but I'm glad that I stuck with it, and it pays off. And never say what you can't do. I'm looking forward to my transition to Dallas. I'll be moving today when I go home. And I just thank everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beverly. Congratulations.
I must add, in response to my colleagues' comments, well, you rose to the 6th floor. Beverly, you rose. I made it to the parking lot at Parker Center with my motorcycle.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Before we have our next presentation from Mr. Reyes, I'd like to introduce some special students that are here today from my district. 30 students from Verdugo High School's AP Government class. If you could all stand, I know you're there in the back, which studies government on local, state, and federal and international levels. They're headed by their teacher, Will Reinhardt, and they're visiting council today to learn about local government in action. And leading them today is one of my staff members, Heather O'Connor, who was part of this program and interned in my office, is now going to college and working part-time. So let's give these wonderful AP students, government class, a great round of applause and welcome them to City Council. Thank you for being here, and we encourage you to stay as long as you can to learn a little bit about government, and a special person that we're acknowledging today, Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to call on my colleague, Greg Smith. Council members, this morning we're here to recognize a very special person as he makes his way up with his family. Come on up. You two can be on camera. Come on up. We have with us Bob Genovese. Thank you, colleagues. About a month ago, around 500 individuals gathered right across the street to give thanks to Bob's 37 years of distinguished service. Susan, his wife, just reminded me and let me know that it was this day in 1969 was Bob's first day here in City Hall. And when you look at the impact he's made, it's been tremendous. This is the individual who essentially had to respond to the 15 fiefdoms, the mayor, and talk about land use and create a balance between all of the different stakeholders and tensions when it comes to that decision of how we use our land. And Bob has been that steward for the city for many, many years. Councilmember Smith, Chief of Staff for Councilmember Bernson for 23 years. And Councilmember Bernson, Chair of Plum for 16 years, worked side by side with Bob in many of these tough decisions. We're joined by Con Howe, our director, who is now working with Urban Land Institute, and Gail Goldberg, our current planning director. We're all here because of the special service, the incredible role Bob has played throughout his years. I, as a wide-eyed planner back in '89, out of graduate school, saw him as the professor, the teacher, the person that would calmly let you know, this is the law, this is the greater good, this is the city, and this is the politics. And he was able to strike that balance in such a way where we have a world-class city, we have a city of the future, and a lot of that has to do with Bob's ability to fulfill that semi-judicious role. Bob is one of those persons who's a collector of many items. He collects stamps, paperweights, clocks, baseball hats. He must have a big house. Leather goods, belts, ties, on and on. He's joined by his son, Michael Genovese, daughter, Eric Salisbury, and son-in-law, Ben. Welcome to City Hall, and thank you for letting us enjoy your dad's brilliance, his intelligence, his ability to make what we have today in Los Angeles. In addition to presenting a retirement certificate from the City Council today, we're including a Career Service Award sponsored by the Personnel Department, given by a Personnel Committee, by our Chair Dennis Zine and Mayor Villaraigosa. This award is given to Bob for demonstrating outstanding dedication to duty, outstanding leadership qualities. Before I go on, I'd like to invite my colleague, Councilmember Smith, to share a few words. Councilmember Smith.
Thank you, Ed. And it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of my constituent and my great friend, first of all, Bob Jay. You know, in all those years I served in City Hall, I wasn't the planning deputy, Phyllis Winger was, but I worked with Bob a lot because I was called in on those really tough cases that got to be ugly quite often, and Mr. Bernson would call me in to help on those. But it was known throughout City Hall that if you had a problem with the planning issue and a problem with the planning department, you went to Bob Jay, because Bob, first of all, was going to give you a very honest, straightforward opinion, and then he's going to say to you, I understand your problem, and let's see if we can find a solution for you to get out of this situation and make it work for everybody. And too often in City Hall, when we go to a department, we hear the answer, no, you can't do that because this is the rule. Bob would say, this is the rule, but let's see how we can make it work for everybody to be happy. And that was so refreshing and unique that this man wanted to find ways to solve problems rather than just rubber stamping, as the bureaucrats so often do, the answer no on your request. And Bob was a very honest man who would tell you the facts, but then try and find a way to fix the problem. And it was not because he wanted to just help council members, but the people of the city of LA. He wanted to find a solution to the problem, whether it was our problem or the neighborhood's problem. He wanted to find solutions to the problem. And that was the brilliance of Bob Jay. And this was known not just here in City Hall, but as you went throughout the communities, Bob was always willing to meet with the community representatives, to go to meetings in the community. And I know in our district, because he lived there, he used to come home on the train and stop sometimes and meet with people at the train station or at one of the community rooms around the district and meet with people and talk to them about the problems they were having in their community. A truly dedicated public servant who cared about the public as well as the elected officials in the city. And it was just an honor and a pleasure to work with Bob, first in an official capacity, but more importantly as a friend. And while he's leaving us as a planner, I still have the pleasure, unlike the rest of you, of being a neighbor and a friend to Bob and Sue. And I know I'm not going to miss them from City Hall because I'm going to see them still around, because that's the kind of good people they are. So God bless you, Bob, on your retirement. All the best to you. We're so proud of you. And as you can tell by the standing ovation you got here today, you're greatly loved in this building. So God bless you.
I know we have a few other council members who would like to say a few words. I'd like to start with Ms. Perry, followed by Mr.
Just a moment,
Zine.
Council President.
Yes.
I just wanted to interrupt for a second, and I'd like to hear the voice of Councilman Bernson ring in this hallway.
I'm
invite him
with
to
you.
the microphone.
Yes. Councilmember Bernson. We still call you Councilman.
Thank you. It's good to see all of you. But let me just say, a lot of accolades have been said today, but what do you say about a legend? This is a man who has really become a legend around City Hall in the city of Los Angeles. Anybody who knows anything about land use, anybody who's ever worked with him or worked in the department, all know that he is a legend. And the work that he's done for this city will never be forgotten. And even more than the association between myself and him as a planner and me as a member of the council, I can honestly say he's also a great friend. And I think it's appropriate that we honor him today, but there's not enough words to describe the things that he has done for our city. Bob, congratulations and thank you very much.
Ms. Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bob, I think I said at our luncheon the number of people who are on the council now and the lives that you affected through teaching us how to shape a city, and the skills that you have imparted just through watching you through the hearing process, having you explain to us how to problem solve and bring a better quality of life to everybody that we're all elected to represent has been a gift that you bestowed upon us. And I want to say personally how grateful I am, and I wish you a very happy retirement and enjoy your time with your family.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Mr. Zine.
Bob, I was at your retirement luncheon. You had President and former council members there, a room packed with people expressing their appreciation, their love for you, all that you have done. For 17 years, I know that you have been the go-to person when it comes to issues with planning. I've had to call you a couple times, and you were there to make the resolution to make it happen. And I just want to offer my congratulations on your retirement. I know that your wonderful family is supporting you, and they'll continue to support you and be there along with the city family. You're not leaving the city family, you're just taking a little vacation from the city family because you're always part of this city family. God bless you and happy years of retirement, Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Mr. Cardenas.
Thank you very much. Bob, it's our honor to honor you today and to thank you for 37 years of professionalism, of expertise in one of the most tumultuous responsibilities that any government has, and that is what is going to happen on this corner. Why are you letting my neighbor do this? Why is it that this apartment complex belongs there? How is it that my neighbor can actually put a second story and they can look into my pool? Those are the kinds of things that we hear on a daily basis. And you're the person who we've been going to for many, many years, and you have made so complicated emotional issues, not problems, but just issues, and you've solved so many. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everybody was happy at the end of all that, but I am here to say that without question, you addressed it with professionalism, you addressed it with care, C-A-R-E, care. And that's something that a lot of people think that government doesn't do, that we don't care. Bob, you do care. You've cared about Los Angeles. You were able to work with all of us, and you're one of the few people with so many responsibilities that so many people can consider and say and want to say thank you for your friendship. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas. Ms. Gruhl. Ms. Gruhl.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I thought there were two other people on the queue. It's my pleasure to stand here and as Bob's wife said this morning, the day where they had 500 people, he left that day saying it was a perfect day. And he's been a perfect employee in my eyes. I was sorry, I always get choked up when I talk about Bob, but he has been such a good friend and learned so much about planning. Ed and I talked about this frequently. He taught so many of us in this room about planning. And he taught us not only about the intricacies of planning or the problem solving, as Greg mentioned, but he also taught us about the heart of planning and the importance of when you're looking at an issue. It's not just those little technicalities. It's about the big picture, and it's about the people who are implicated or impacted by that decision. As Greg also mentioned, he was the person on the inside that you went to. I went to the outside for a little bit of time, and he was also from the outside. Everyone called him when they had a problem, and I knew that I could call Bob J., and he was known as Bob J. to everybody. And you could pick up the phone whether you were a community leader, someone who had a project in a district, a council member, or a staff member, and he returned your call morning, noon, and night. He gave you his cell phone number. He could find you. You could find him anywhere. And so We have a lot of retirements, but I don't think there is anyone more special than today. And blessed to have Bob in our life and his family. So just glad you're here. Congratulations.
Mr. Weiss. Mr. Weiss.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Bob. I just want to say I am speechless and I am humbled in your presence. You're a very, very beautiful and special person, and you are much loved in this city and in this building. And it is really very special to have you here today, Bob. Congratulations to you on your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Mr. Labange.
Thank you, Madam President. Bob, I love you, and so many people love you. And you have a great support family and all that was done. I know my Chief of Staff, Renee Weitzer, loves you. For when she was president of a homeowners group, Encino Homeowners, you were as fair and firm and suggestive of how to solve a problem as you were when she became part of the city family. But members, what I love most about Bob J. is there's a column back there, that third column back, and usually about this time in the morning, during the mid-morning break, Bob wouldn't walk out on Main Street and catch fresh air. He'd come in here and catch hot air and sit and listen to us talk and debate, and also give us an opportunity to come and ask him for guidance on a project in the district. You're truly an angel in the City of Angels, and I'm just so proud. And what a wonderful thing, as Mr. Zine said, your wonderful salute at the New Otani of all the people who were there, the variety of people, both past and present council members. So, Bob, I just want to say you're very special, and this is great. Mr. Reyes and Mr. Smith brought you down here, and Mr. Burnson's able to join us today. God bless Bob Genovese.
Thank you very much, Mr. Labange.
On behalf of the council, we'd like to present this resolution, and I'll just read a couple of whereases. Whereas intellect, wit, and technical knowledge are sought out by staff, public, and private attorneys, elected officials, applicants, and ordinary residents in Los Angeles. And whereas Bob's integrity and dedication to public service are two unwavering qualities that have never been brought into question. Now therefore be it resolved that by the adoption of this resolution, the Los Angeles City Council, along with the mayor, city attorney, and city controller, hereby congratulate and thank Robert Bob Genovese for his 36 years of service to the Department of City Planning, his outstanding dedication and leadership, and wish him and his family good health and happiness. Thank you, Bob.
I want to thank you all for this event here. I've taken up a lot of your time already, so I don't want to give a long speech. But I want to thank you all for your support over the years. I truly appreciate it. When I was going to law school, I wondered if I would find a job that would be the payoff from having gone through the 3 years of law school. And this was it, working here for the City of Los Angeles. It's the only job that I think would have satisfied me for these 37 years. And I want to thank you all very much for this morning. Thank you.
Members, I'd like to ask us members if we could join around Bob for a group shot, please, right now. This very special individual. We'll hold it right there. Bob, stay where you are. Let the planning staff real quick run right behind Bob, will you? Bob Sutton, and you all came down real quick so you could get a shot. Ed, you and Greg want to stay with Now let me recognize Pro Tem of the great Second District, the proud Councilwoman of the Second District, Wendy Gruhl.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Labange, for acknowledging, and again, a special acknowledgement for Bob Genovese. For those of you watching, one of the reasons this has been such an emotional day for us is Bob is one of the survivors of the Metrolink crash, and one of our dedicated employees we're blessed to have with us. So just wanted to let people know that we're so thrilled that he's alive and well with us. Colleagues, please join me today in recognizing a high school in my district for their outstanding achievement. And this has been my pleasure not just once, but several times since I have been a council member. The North Hollywood High School team won the LADWP Science Bowl Regional Tournament on February 25th. This regional competition covers schools in the Los Angeles and LA Unified School District. This year marked North Hollywood High School's 8th regional championship. The team received an all-expense paid trip to Washington, D.C., funded by the United States Department of Energy, and represented the city of Los Angeles at the National Science Bowl, where they took second place on May 1st. State College Area High School of Pennsylvania captured the national title. North Hollywood High School has brought home, for Los Angeles, 4 National Science Bowl titles in 12 years, the best record in any region or state in the nation. I would like to congratulate today the hardworking and talented members of the Science Bowl's Hollywood High School North Hollywood High School team that are here with us today, and we'll present them their certificates in the back, but want to acknowledge each of them. Alexander Yen, who is present with us today, Timothy Hisei, who's not with us today, Denise Yi, John Chen, and Joseph Chang. Let's give them a great round of applause for the Science Bowl members. I'd also, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, like to recognize and express our appreciation to their dedicated coaches, both Rashida Shaw and Len Salif. Let's give them a great round of applause. We also have representatives today from the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power who put a lot of time and effort to support this Science Bowl and have been, really, I think, the guiding light and leadership in making Los Angeles very competitive and supporting North Hollywood High School. So it is my pleasure to first introduce, I believe it's Len, who is going to say a few words on behalf of North Hollywood High School.
As a retired coach, it gives me great pleasure. I just don't seem to be able to stop. Thank you for recognizing us, and I just wanted you to know that North Hollywood High School has finished in the 8 out of 9 years that we have gone to Washington, first, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, and 12th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Walter Sizer from the Department of Water and Power.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for us to participate, but I wanted to mention that Science Bowl locally and nationally is a true partnership. Locally, besides our volunteers, we have a 10-member steering committee of volunteers, 100 volunteers that come and work on the actual regional champion or regional day of the competition. And then we have support from other organizations, including, I'd like to list a few of them, BP, Hitachi and their Hitachi Foundation and their Southern California Action Committee, Nestle USA, Office Depot, the IEEE, the San Fernando Valley Engineers Council, and our Water and Power Credit Union, to name a few, and of course the Los Angeles Unified School District, the coaches and some of their administration where the funds are also where the donated funds go. But I'd also like to mention, since 1995, the first year there was a national title, which was won by Van Nuys High School, and in successive years, 96 and 97, won by Venice High School. Our local teams have placed in the trophy rounds, that's first through fifth place, in 9 of the last 12 years. So it's truly, we are one of the sort of the powerhouses in Science Bowl, which is academic high school competition. I'd also like to mention that Channel 35 is one of the sponsors for this year's regional and has a documentary, a half-hour program on this year's competition that has been running, and so if you check your listings, they'll be aired, the actual regional competition showing North Hollywood winning this year's program. So thank you very much. It's very exciting for us to participate, and we appreciate the support of the City Council, of Councilmember Gruhl, and of the Council in general and the City Hall for our participation in this tremendous activity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to just briefly introduce Alex Yen, who's going to tell us a little bit about what these students are doing in their next stage of their life.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the council first for recognizing us. Our Science Bowl team has 4 seniors. In the fall, Joseph Chang will be attending Pomona College in Claremont, one of the Claremont colleges. Denise, in the back, she'll be attending Harvard and majoring in neurobiology. Tim, who isn't here with us today, is also attending Harvard. He'll be majoring in physics and music. I'll be attending Wharton at UPenn, so thank you.
Thank you.
Needless to say, these are outstanding young people who are going to make us proud in their next stage of their life, and we welcome them back in the city of Los Angeles and hope maybe you'll consider someday a career in the city, because we could use young students like you in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much for allowing us to have this great presentation today.
Thank you, Ms. Gruhl, and thank the Huskies at North Hollywood. We're so proud of you, and thank the Department of Water and Power, Walter Zeisel, who has been the great employee who pushed that project. Give them a hand, the North Hollywood High Huskies.
Thank you, Mr. LaBonge.
I'd like to call on Mr. Cardenas, and as he walks up to the podium, it's my pleasure to introduce a great young second grade class from Temple, Israel. Please give them a warm welcome, Temple, Israel, which is the leaders of Big Sunday a couple of weeks ago, where 31,000 Angelinos participated. We want a special welcome to Olivia Goodman, the daughter of my deputy, Carolyn Ramsey. Everybody wave, Temple, Israel. Good job. Now, members, please welcome Mr. Tony Cardenas of the 6th District for a very special presentation.
It's my honor to give this certificate of recognition, this resolution, to Thera Bradshaw, who heads our Information Technology Department, and she's accompanied here by Roger Fernandez, her bodyguard. Just kidding. He's one of the technological brains of the city of Los Angeles. I tease him. He's not a brute. He's very intelligent. The general manager of the Information Technology Agency, Thera Bradshaw, has been honored by Government Technology Magazine as one of the nation's top doers, dreamers, and drivers in promoting technology in government. She is actually putting Los Angeles on the map throughout this nation, and not only in this nation, throughout the world, with her innovativeness and her willingness to understand the drive and the responsibility that she needs to have, that this city needs to have to make sure that we make accessible to all Angelenos this information technology tool, this tool that helps business succeed, this tool that helps young people like the ones we just honored to be able to understand the world at their fingertips. Without information technology at your fingertips, you cannot compete. Literally, in today's competitions, you cannot compete in tomorrow's educational system as a student, and you certainly can't compete well as a business. Thera Bradshaw embodies what it takes to get the job done. I'm here today to thank her for all the work that she's been doing, and to thank her ahead of time, because we have full confidence that as the City Council and the Mayor of Los Angeles has asked her department to make sure that we have the best 311 system in the country, and we're on our way to doing that. It's about as good as it gets so far, and they're making it better. That was done under her responsibility. In addition to that, we have a public Wi-Fi system that happens to be in my district in Van Nuys, at the Van Nuys Civic Center, that allows the public to come to their public place, open up their laptop, and use their computer and connect to the internet, and again, to connect to the world at no charge. In addition to that, we've done it here in a way that does not require those individuals to compromise who they are and what they're doing there. For example, there's another city that started doing that. They did it in a grand way, where they did it throughout their entire city, and that's something to be commended. But they have a little bit of a quirk or a problem that has occurred. When you log on, you have to give your logon information. So now we have a private company that partnered with that city that now has that private information. We didn't do that in Los Angeles. We're doing it in a way that is catering to our constituency, yet at the same time not compromising their identity, not compromising their personal information. I just wanted to point that out because it's wonderful to announce things. It's great to say that you might be the first, but what's most important when it comes to government, that we do things right, and if we can be the first, great. But if we do things right, and we protect our constituencies, and we do it well thought out, that's the way to do things, and that's why we honor Thera Bradshaw, because she has created a department that knows how to do that, is doing it in that fashion, to that degree and to that professionalism, and it is for that that we congratulate Thera Bradshaw on her national recognition, but more importantly, we congratulate her for the wonderful job that she's doing with such a very tumultuous department, because when you look at the legalese, when you look at the responsibility, and when you look at the changing technology that is literally happening every single day, the City of Los Angeles is doing a fine job. So with that, Thera, you want to say a few words?
Thank you very much.
If I could, before we have a list of speakers, starting with Mr. Rosendahl. Please, Mr. Cardenas, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it. It's good to see you up here as president, Tom.
For the moment.
That's all we have is the moment. And so in this moment, we want to acknowledge what you all have been doing. The most important task, frankly, is what you have ahead. And I just want to acknowledge your leadership now, and to see Mr. Cardenas there, who's a very thorough fellow with his engineering background on everything, to be standing next to you and to be praising you speaks volumes of how he's analyzed things. But from my perspective, as an old cable guy, you know, who enjoyed that day in his life, when you get that Time Warner and cable into the room, the big elephant that's going to take over the whole city's cable franchises, I know there are a lot of things the community is looking for your leadership. One, we want a LA1. We want a public affairs channel coming out of those folks that really gives our city some presence. Second, we want to see tougher customer service standards that protect the customer. Three, we want to be able to look at those bills and see why they are what they are. Four, we like a la carte, a lot of us, even though that's a federal issue. That's something that has to be looked at. Folks behind you, we can see the leadership that you bring to the table here, and we look forward to that leadership in the renewal of the franchise, and we thank you for your leadership in the department now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rosendahl. Mr. Smith.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to join with my colleagues in commending the staff of ITA and Thayer in particular. And as we look at this magazine, I've looked at this Government Technology magazine once in a while because there's some really neat things going on around the country. And almost every time LA is already doing it or in the process of doing it, and it has made LA one of the most connected cities in America as far as government goes and government outreach. And I know when I got here, I came to council and I had this idea a citizen gave me, and I'm the first one to say it wasn't my idea, about connecting this very big city of ours, 465 square miles, by using technology so people could communicate with this council through video conferencing. So we brought it up to the staff, and their eyes just went big. They said, wow, let's do that. And they almost pushed us aside in such a hurry to get out there and do it. They went out of their way to make it work. And now today we enjoy it on a regular basis here in the chambers, where people are broadcasting to City Hall from 30 miles away out in Van Nuys. And now we're going to roll it out this year to San Pedro for our second video conferencing, and hopefully in future years we put in the budget the opportunity to look to another facility maybe in the west side and just be the most connected city in America. And so to the entire staff, all of you, every time we've asked for anything, you just jump at it and get it done, and we appreciate that so much, but the people of LA appreciate that because it's given them the opportunity to participate in very unique ways with their city government. So thank you for being on the forefront of ITA, but also in the forefront of democracy as we roll it out to a very large population in Los Angeles, 4 million people who appreciate the ability to communicate in very unique ways. So thank you for your leadership in the country. You're a charming group of people. Thank you.
Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Councilman. I just rise and also want to thank Thayer for her hard work, her staff for the commitment. Recognizing that we have such a diverse city, technology is going to be the main tool to connect this great cultural diversity of many languages, many cultures, the ability to communicate, the ability to secure. We know we have our challenges with graffiti, we have our challenges with security, cameras, computers, police officers. All this will be connected through technology, and it is the type of work that you are promoting. And it's great to read Government Technology magazine and get up to date as to all of the cutting edge issues that you are already addressing. So thank you, congratulations. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Parks?
Thank you, Madam President. I just also want to say to Thayer, thank you very much. You have a tough job, and we've come a long way from a couple of years ago where ITA at times sent us cryptic messages and said, I can't do that. You've changed that atmosphere and really have been responsive. And I think the fact that you now recognize nationally is a real indication of the progress that you've made. Also, getting out of the debate of where a CIO and not a CIO, I think has aided the ability for the city to move forward on real projects in the sense of how we're going to tackle the technology. We, as city officials at times, we remember the failures. Everybody can quote chapter and verse the last thing that failed. Sometimes they forget it was 10 years ago, but the issue is it's very relevant today as we talk about that, but it is expensive, and that's why it's one of those issues that requires the discussion. I appreciate also the fact that with the Technology Committee, with the CLA-CAO, that you play an active role in overseeing all those big projects so that we get a sense of whether the tax system is going to work or whether the controller system is going to work. I appreciate what you're doing on Wi-Fi, and we got an item today that's going to talk about that because I think we've made great progress in that, far beyond what most people believe as it relates to our own city buildings and how we can move forward and incrementally get Wi-Fi to be a reality even without going out and creating other systems just by using our own city facilities. And so thank you very much. You bring honor to the city of Los Angeles because of your work, and I appreciate it personally.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Mr. Zine, followed by Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Madam President. Dara and crew, Roger, able security officer. IT has done a tremendous job. Channel 35, what we see happening, how this broadcast goes throughout this region, all the wonderful work that's done, the technology. This isn't the first national award you folks have received, because I know Eric Garcetti and I were in Washington a couple years ago and picked up an award, Save on Your Travel Budget. We were already there on another mission and picked up your award to bring it back. So IT in this city has been recognized more than once. The wonderful job that you and the hundreds of people that work that do every single day, from the alarm systems, the information technology. I mean, the world at the fingertips. I heard a report this morning on the radio about something happened in Washington, D.C., and here at my laptop, punching up CNN and getting the information as it's happening. And it's all because of the wonderful job that all the folks at IT are doing. So this acknowledgement is well-deserved, well-earned, and I know that you're always striving to make it better, always striving to make it better. So the recognition is in order for all the wonderful work that you both do, that the whole department does. And obviously the person at the top takes the praise, and also when it doesn't go the right way, takes the blame. And we don't hold back on that, but when there's praise, as is today, we're forthcoming with those words of encouragement, and opportunities like today we want to continue. So onward and upward, IT, and Tony, for all of you do with your methodical process. You are the methodical person. You'd be a great detective solving that case, and all you do to help bring this about. So congratulations to everyone, and to the people who are still working over at IT, the different sections of the city, congratulations to each and every one of them. They don't have the opportunity to be here because they're working. And the rest of you, I know after this, are going to go back and catch up on what you're missing right now. Best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zine. Ms. Hahn.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to also join everyone in congratulating Thera and really your entire staff on this award. And I had such a great opportunity when I was chair, seen briefly, of information technology to really work with you and your staff. And I found you and really everyone, and I think that's a reflection of your philosophy, that your entire crew really thinks like you do, which in my opinion is out of the box. You have always been creative, out of the box, trying to figure out good solutions, and you've continually pushed all of us to see Los Angeles as really certainly the second largest city in the country, but a city that is a trendsetter, a city that others look to see how we're doing things, and you've really pushed us to be the great city technologically that we can be. And I will tell you, not all departments, when they make reports in front of you, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, don't bring me bad news. Your staff and you, whenever there's a report, it is always good news. It is always this is how we're going to do it better, whether it's about Channel 35 or whether it's neighborhood councils, being able to have webcam access. I just really think you've really pushed us to the future, and I congratulate you and thank you for being such a shining star in this industry.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. You get to speak now, Thera. So.
I'm totally humbled, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be in LA. I too love LA, but to be acknowledged by you, the people that I am privileged to work with, you're not a doer, dreamer, and driver on your own. It takes a team, and I think we have all the stars in line in Los Angeles, from our mayor to the city council to an engaged community and to a great team that I'm privileged to lead at ITA. So really, I'm humbled by this. I accept this on behalf of the whole department, because it's not just me at the top, it's everyone that makes up the team. So thank you very much for the honor.
Thank you very much, Thera. Thank you, Mr. Cardenas.
Thank you, and I appreciate Thera is always humble enough to recognize the truth of the matter is that she's part of a team. She may lead the team, and she's part of a team. Maybe what I'll do, Thera, is we'll put some little wheels on this certificate so that you can put it in each one of the offices every day of the week. So with that, we give this to you however you want to display it, whoever's going to get it. Congratulations, you've earned it, your team has earned it, and through your leadership, we're on our way to being already one of the best cities in the world when it comes to information technology and communication. And like Greg said, absolutely, democracy. Information is part of what makes democracy work, and you're making it better and better every day. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. Our next presentation is from Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to ask Arlette Davis to come up. And now I'd like to ask Arlette Davis's fan club to come up, city employees. Colleagues, Arlette Davis is retiring from the City of LA today after 35 years of service. She's the oldest daughter of James Davis and Gretchen Davis. She's a graduate of the Manual Arts High School in the 9th District. She's earned her Associate's Arts degree at East Los Angeles Community College. She began her career with the City of Los Angeles on March 11, 1971, in the Comptroller's Office as a comptometer operator, and you'll tell us what that is when you get up here. I understand it was just after the abacus that we now count as the first electric typewriter, or adding machine, first electric adding machine. Around the time we had A.B. Dick machines before Xerox and all that other stuff. For those who are young enough to remember that, she will describe what that machine did, but it's a adding machine. For today's purposes. It was a kind of a mechanical adding machine. It was the first adding device to be driven solely by the action of pressing keys, which were arranged in an array of vertical and horizontal columns. She was promoted to the Department of Public Works, the Bureau of Accounting in February '75 as accounting clerk. She promoted to accounting aide in '79, promoted again to accountant in 1980, senior accountant in August '87, and now she's retiring as a senior accountant in March of, as a senior accountant 2 in March '95. For over 18 years, she has been the office fundraising captain and for the March of Dimes, and we know how well the city has done on that venture. She also is recognized by the Productivity Commission in '96-97 for outstanding team productivity. In addition, she served as an official host for the office holiday party. Overall, for the 35 years she's worked under 5 mayors, from Sam Miority, Tom Bradley, Richard Reardon, James Hahn, and now Antonio Villaraigosa. Although she has decided to retire from the city, she plans to dedicate her time to mentoring and tutoring young people with the LA Unified School District. For the past 35 years, she's been a very dedicated employee. The city's very proud and honored to have her here today and basically ask her in the sense of not only, as we've asked others now that you're retired, to come back and volunteer at some point. Also, I'd like to introduce the Board of Public Works Commissioner Yolanda Fuentes, who is also here, and ask her to come up. She's not here yet. I'm going to retract that. We're not going to introduce Yolanda Fuentes, but we'd like to.
She is right behind
you.
She is? Perfect timing.
Oh, come back. Okay. Good. Come on up here. Okay. You can get started here.
Well, actually, good morning, Madam President and council members. Arlette, once again, it's with great pleasure we're here to thank you for your many years of service, not only to us at the city, but to our community. Yesterday at your luncheon, on Wednesday at your luncheon, we heard great things about you and how you actually moved into people's homes to help them when their family members were in need. A true testament of what Public Works is as a family. Thank you. Enjoy your retirement, and you said you'd be back to visit.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Reese, the president of the Board of Public Works, is on her way, but we're going to ask our honoree to come up and let me have that certificate and we can present it to her, and then we'll ask her to make some comments. So, in behalf of the Los Angeles City Council, I want to say thank you for your 3 decades of work for the City of Los Angeles, and please tell us what that machine is that you were using 30 years ago. Thank you. Let me hold that for you.
Well, the comptometer machine, like Park said, has keys from 1 to 0 going up and about 10 rows across, and you would add with both hands at a time, and you would multiply and divide, which most of it you had to do in your head because it was just pressing the keys down. I think the last one was retired back in 1980, somewhere around that, when my supervisor retired and he took it with him. They have no more. But it's been great working with the city. Oh, your turn. Okay. For all these years, and I have been through a lot of change. We had the count machines, we still had duplicating machines. So I got to see the 10 keys come in, the Xeroxes come in, and the PCs come in, because at the time, we only had what they call dumb terminals. But the city has grown, and we've changed a lot of systems, and our office was the forerunner in a lot of them. I know you've heard of Merlin and some of the other things that our office has brought into effect to the city. But it has been great, and I will be back to visit time again for lunch.
Ms. Reese here is the President of Public Works. I'd like her to make some comment.
I just want to say that Arlette will truly be missed. She's been a fabulous employee, and we wish her the best of luck as she moves on to the next phase of her life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parks, and congratulations. I'd like to, colleagues will now go into public comment before we go into our items. I'd like to ask, we have several cards from the South Central farmers that are here today.
I want Joan Baez. If it's not Joan Baez, I don't want to hear it. Can you believe it?
Hola, mi nombre es Roberto Macías. Yo vengo a pedirles un favor que nos dejen ahí en nuestro lote, que estamos muy a gusto nosotros ahí, pero pues es que se nos ha puesto un problema muy grande
I need
aquí.
you to please to save that place. We are having a very big problem now.
Nosotros quisiera que nos ayudaran porque
We want your help, please.
nos sentimos muy mal que nos vayan a quitar este lugar allí.
We don't want this place to be removed.
Nosotros estamos muy a gusto con nuestros hijos allí.
We are very pleased living there with our children.
De favor, les pedimos que nos dejen allí, por favor.
We please ask you to keep us there.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenos días, yo soy Elisa Viña.
Good morning, my name is Elisa Viña.
Y venimos a suplicarles que nos ayuden a
We are coming
rescatar
here to beg
el
you
jardín.
to help us with the garden, with the farm.
Porque pues yo vivo en un departamento.
I live in an apartment.
Y yo allí me encierro y yo ya estoy vieja.
And
y
I
allí
get there and I am old already.
Y vengo al jardín y
And when I come to the
agarro
farm,
aire fresco.
I can breathe fresh air.
Y queremos que nos hagan el favor de
So we want to
ayudarnos
please
a
help us
rescatarlo para
to have
nuestros nietos,
the farm
para
for our
la generación que
grandchildren,
tenemos.
for our next generation.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Buenos días, mi
Good
nombre es
morning.
Lucila Delgado.
My name is Lucila Delgado.
Yo les pido de favor
I ask you please
que nos ayuden a salvar ese lugar.
to help us to save
Nosotros lo
the farm.
necesitamos, somos
We
unas
really
gentes
need it.
pobres
We are poor
y
people
necesitamos esa ayuda.
and we need that help.
Así como ustedes fueron
The
elegidos
same way you were elected
de parte del pueblo, así también nosotros queremos que
From
nos
the
ayuden a
town, the same way we need your help.
Les pido de favor. Es
We
todo.
ask you a favor, that's it.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Mi nombre es María Íñiguez y yo vengo
My name is
representando
Maria Íñiguez
el Sur Central Farmer.
and I representing South
Este,
Central Farm.
Nosotros hemos venido por 3
We
años
have
aquí con
been coming
ustedes a
here
que
for
nos
3
escuchen
years
y no
already
nos han
for you
querido
to hear us,
y no nos han
and you
escuchado.
didn't want to
Esperamos que
hear
no nos
us and you
pase
didn't.
lo mismo que los maderos de San Juan.
We don't want to happen the same as
Esperamos y
happened
nos
to Maderos
escuchen
of San
y-
Juan. We want to be heard.
Okay.
Okay?
Gracias. Con
Thank you.
permiso.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
¿No?
Thank you.
Gracias.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos días. Mi nombre es María Josefina Medina y soy campesina del sur
My
centro
name
de
is
Los
Josefina
Ángeles,
Medina. I am a farmer from South Central LA.
que se está en la 41 y
It's
Alameda.
at 41st and Alameda.
Otra vez, como todos miércoles y
One more
viernes,
time, as every Wednesday and Friday,
venimos a
we are
pedirles,
coming here to request
porque ya no sabemos la
because
forma
we don't know what another way to get
de pedir su
to
apoyo
ask for your support
para salvar
to save
este oasis
this
en
place
medio
in the middle
del pavimento.
of pavement.
Señores, pónganse la mano en el corazón.
Ladies and gentlemen, just put your hand on your heart.
Es una célula de la ciudad de Los
It's a
Ángeles,
cell of the city of Los Angeles.
donde tenemos alto porcentaje de smog,
We have a high percentage of pollution,
donde nuestros niños se están
and our
enfermando de
children are getting
asma.
sick because of asthma,
Tenemos obesidad infantil
obesity,
y es el único
and
lugar
it's the only place
donde podemos
where
encontrar
we can find
vegetales
vegetables,
naturales,
natural vegetables,
sin contaminación
no pollution,
y gratis.
and just free.
Señores,
Ladies and gentlemen,
ustedes fueron elegidos por el
you were
pueblo
elected by the people,
y nos hacen promesas que
and
están
you promised
para nosotros.
us that you are for us.
¿Por qué no responden?
Why don't you respond?
Si no pueden con el dinero
If you can't
de
do
todos los
it
que
with
contribuimos,
all the money of the taxpayers,
tomen un poquito de su sueldo
just take some part of your salary
y salven esta causa
and
tan grande,
save
ya que otras personas
this big place,
están ahí con nosotros.
because other people are there with us.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Alberto Clatoa, and I've been attending City Council since the summer of 2004. We've been presenting our plight to you, City Council members, for the past 3 years, and yet we have not seen any action taken upon this issue. We recognize the councilmen who have been supported. Thank you for the councilmen who have shown acknowledgement to our struggle and our plight. Jose Wizard, Bill Rosendahl, and Ed Reyes have shown their solidarity by giving us acknowledgement for our struggle. We agree with the mayor that the developer should sell the property back the same price as he bought it for, $5.1 million. And from my understanding, you guys have also looked for alternative sites, and I know that they're more expensive. The farmers are doing something positive for their community, and if that is a crime, then we're guilty of it. For trying to feed our kids, trying to have them in a safe environment, then we're guilty for that. Come on, Nico. Come on. Can please somebody here in this council explain to that little boy right there why you want to deprive him of food and a safe environment in his community? He's a citizen of this city and he deserves the right. You should be ashamed for not doing anything for these people. We have been here constantly demanding that you do something, and yet we have not seen anything done. This issue needs to be taken up immediately. Let me tell you something. If the kids, women, and children get hurt when the eviction takes process, then the responsibility is going to fall on you guys because you did not take a stand in representing the community that you're supposed to represent. John Perry, can you tell that little boy why you don't want him to get fed? And
Sir,
have a safe
direct your
space?
comments to
Can
the
you
full
please tell
council,
him
please.
Why? I don't understand. This issue needs to be taken up immediately. We are here and we're not leaving. We're pushing for this issue. Y aquí estamos y no nos vamos.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Tati Lubovisky Acosta, and I have come to speak on behalf of the South Central farmers. If I recall correctly, on Earth Day, Councilwoman Jan Perry of the 9th District and Councilman Eric Garcetti were presenting an organization with a proclamation congratulating them on their work in preserving green spaces in Los Angeles. On the 9th District webpage, Councilwoman Jan Perry's biography states, I'm not quoting here, this is, Perry is committed to increasing green space. I am guessing that this green space is in the 9th District. And may I remind the City Council that the South Central Farm is located in the 9th District and that it is indeed a green space. Well, an urban garden actually, but still very green and very much of a space. And it's, now I want all of you to ponder this with me. Now, what does it say about our city? This city of skyscrapers and traffic and freeways and overpasses, concrete and asphalt, metal, glass, that if we let the largest urban garden in the United States of America be paved over and built upon with warehouses. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Allegra Padilla. I live in Council District 14, and I work in Council District 1, Pico Union. And, you know, in both of those districts, there's a serious lack of green space. You know, there's community projects like Proyecto Jardín and work that Arts Corps LA is doing. And those gardens are nothing in comparison to what the South Central Farm has going. And, you know, the City of LA managed to find $800 million to invest in remodeling the LA Coliseum, yet they had a challenge finding enough money to support the South Central farmers. A green space that is safe. You know, people talk about gang intervention, youth empowerment. Well, where's safe green spaces for our youth, where they can learn about their culture, they can learn from their ancestors, from their elders, about the different plants and medicines that are there. So we're asking City Council to find money somewhere because, you know, LA City is one of the richest cities in the nation. And for me, it's not a question of a lack of funds, it's a question of allocation. So do your best. Work your networks, that's what you're here for. We as constituents, we pay your salary. You need to be accountable to us, and we're here to hold you accountable and work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Duke Russell, followed by Michael Carrion. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Martin Iniguez. I wanted to say before because I know about animals and plants.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Members of the council, good morning. My name is Duke Russell. I was born in the Hollywood Hospital in 1926, a few blocks from Los Angeles City College, my alma mater. I am a member of the board of directors of Hollywood High School Alumni Association. Young people from all the high schools need your help to save the men's basketball gym at Los Angeles City College. We need to keep the basketball gym for obvious reasons. I am the founder of the annual Jackie Robinson Day in Los Angeles because the mayor, Hahn, and the city council allowed that to happen. And I thank you all for that. The gym will be destroyed this summer, possibly in June, in order to build a library. On Wednesday, the 9-month president of LACC, which the district board of trustees hired, told the trustees at a public meeting, which I attended, that he was going to destroy the gym to build a library. The library belongs on vacant land on the campus. It also belongs, well, where the tennis courts were destroyed for a building that now is not going to be built. That library can replace the huge non-education commercial golf driving range, which was approved by the trustees in 1999. The present library is named after Martin Luther King, Jr. The administration building is in honor of Cesar Chavez. I believe Jackie Robinson, King, and Chavez would say, save the basketball gym and put it where the golf range is.
If I could ask you to conclude, Mr. Russell.
Okay, just one last thing, please. We have given LACC $248 million for Prop A and Double A. The beautiful Snyder Field for football was destroyed. The great 21-row gym, great 21-row stadium was destroyed. I'm begging you, please save that gym. We need it in case of terrorist attacks, floods, fires, and riots, and
Thank you.
possibly World War III.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you very much.
Michael, carry on.
Yes, my name is Michael Carrion, and I live in the 14th district. And this Tuesday, the gentleman was using the N-word, and you guys had a fit over it. I understand his frustration. Excuse me, can I speak here? Okay, well, you're kind of interrupting. We need a little courtesy here for the public, too. We need to be heard, too, okay? Frustration, building and safety. Mr. Lara has stated that they had closed down the construction site. They're still building. Dirt is on the road. Mr. Ruiz, nice to see you here. Yet your office has done nothing about cleaning the streets. They send a street cleaner one time, he goes up and down and he leaves. Accountability, Mr. Weezer, where's it at? I stood in the back room when you told your assistant to give me a cell phone number 3 times. I still don't have it. I call your office, they tell me he's in a meeting. He tells me he's out of town. Accountability, Mr. Weezer, where is it at? Sounds like the mayor again. Everybody's accountable except him. Parking enforcement. They're still parking outside, all in the red. No one's done any. Ms. Gruhl, that's your department. You stated you wanted to raise the price, $5 more on parking tickets. Why don't you ticket the guys that are parked out there? Well, they have E-plates. They're exempt. They're not exempt from parking in the red, Ms. Gruhl.
They're not exempt.
The parking
In fact, they do
enforcement
get
officers state that it has to come from you guys. From city council, from the higher above, the officials have to give them the okay. Why? Because the people who have those plates call you guys and complain. They cry and smicker over getting a parking ticket when they're illegally parked. Yeah, just like that smicker, Mr. Smith. But that's okay, I understand, you forget things. Mr. Weezer, I need some work in my council, in my district. If you don't want to do it, tell me. I can get my community and we can do it ourselves. I can take it into my own hands. I don't need your help. This is your district. Do it or don't. Use a potty or get off it.
Thank you. Mr. Bruce Darian, followed by Isidro Cerda. I think Isidro spoke already. Mr. Darian?
I'd like to start with thanking the City Council and Councilman Wesson for the beautiful animal that I adopted today, Sheba. She's a fine cat, a female, and I hope she has a long and healthy life, which I'll do my best to ensure. I might just keep her name Sheba. I think I will. And I hope that she can represent the city here in future times. I brought her up here with me to say that hopefully I can speak somewhat for animals that can't come before the City Council and speak before you in regard to the environment. I've spoke many times regarding the Malibu Pier and Malibu Canyon, Los Angeles River. It's been going on a long time, the pollution, and there has not been a clear information as to what goes on, how it's done, what it's affecting. I grew up here in Los Angeles. I went to all Valley schools, grew up at POP, Venice Beach, started surfing in 1972 at Santa Monica Pier, grew up rafting before that in the 60s, started surfing Malibu Beach in 1974, and I'm proud that I'm able to surf. But I no longer go there anymore because it's a contaminated beach. and I run the risk of getting hepatitis. And I hope that with this animal here, Sheba, that I could speak for the animals to some degree, that they can't come here and they can't say that we no longer exist or can go to Malibu Beach or the beaches along the coast in Los Angeles because of the toxins that are coming down: chlorine, boron, cyanide, DDT, chromium-6, arsenic. There's hundreds of cancer-causing chemicals that are coming down Malibu Canyon, and Heal the Bay does not have the resources, nor should they be empowered with judging the quality or the content or the quantity that is detrimental to the public health. I know they can't, and I know they don't. But our government should be, and I'm asking you today to go to bat to find out more about what happened in Malibu Pier, whether it's directly related to city business, but if not, as a friend, and to assist me. I've been a whistleblower in federal court for 6 years. I've done my best. I have limited resources, and I certainly can't do this by myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Melrose Larry Green.
Good morning. I have so many things to say and so little time to say it. So let me work quickly. First, I love the cat. I think that cat is related to the cat that I adopted. I think that's my cat Antonio is doing great. Every day he's getting along better with Robin Quivers, my female cat. 12 seconds. I can't believe it. Okay. First of all, my heart is with the South Central farmers. Once accountant, always an accountant. You're $10 million short. Mayor Villaraigosa can get on the phone with Ron Burkle, people like Eli Broad, David Geffen, Barbara Streisand, Katzenberg, Melrose Larry Green, to get that money. I don't have $100,000 to give, but I got a few bucks I would give. And you can get that $10 million. Horowitz is entitled to his $15 million. You want to be a real mensch? The city of LA should pay for the whole $10 million, and then it'll be a win-win situation. Anyway, let me use my other minute. I want to talk about two great kids I met yesterday, Taylor Hicks and Catherine McPhee. That's right. Thanks to the great Tom LaBonge, I was down and using my old Melrose Larry Green Moxie, I got into the Fox area, and I met them both. They're wonderful kids, and I hope the city of Los Angeles will honor our American idols, Taylor Hicks and Catherine McPhee. Of course, Catherine's from Los Angeles, but Taylor, you're going to love Taylor, Tom. He's just like you. He is just like you. Gray hair and a rock and roller and a fighter. I wouldn't be surprised if someday Taylor's on the city council someplace like Martha Reeves is in Detroit. So, I would like you to honor them in City Council. I know they'll come here, and I hope you'll honor our LA Clippers, who are oh so close to being in the Western Finals. Did I get it all in? Do I still have a few seconds? I have 18 seconds. That's an eternity for Melrose Larry Green. Do you like my haircut?
I was going to say, I love your haircut.
All right, I wanted the opinions of the council. All right. Happy birthday to Bob Dylan. Do something to help these farmers because they're very sincere, and I'm an old fan of Joan Baez, Bob Dylan's old girlfriend. Thank you.
Thank you, Melrose. And we're inviting, Catherine McPhee is from my district, so we're inviting her to come to council, so we'll make sure. Thank you. Sylvia Lynn Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins.
Councilman Gurrell. As we have searched out for over 3 years now concerning the bad treatment of bodies after death and the legal style of donation of body parts to hospitals, we must at this time ask all public people to cancel all insurance of any policyholder since all monies has been stolen and illegally carried to Iraq. Doing USA, doing new burying laws of a new resolution for all public people and animals. Burying law, which means the United States of America, 58 states, will bury freely all people and animals that die in the one divided line of the 58 states of people and animals. This will be done freely, of no charge to anyone. All black people must separate from their race now. Starting in 2008, of many areas that must be mixed, they would not be allowed to marry their own race. But it will be against the law for them to have one race school. They must marry a mixed race. They must live in a mixed community and not a black community from the 18 race and mixed race areas of living. Again, dealing with drains of illegals and drain pipes is from the wilderness, not from the parking lots and not from the streets where illegals are hiding out and being caught by the Border Patrol. They are now being caught in wilderness areas and not out in parking lots and streets to homes of any areas of California.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins.
Thank you very much.
Patricia Slater.
Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Slater. I am Vice President of the Woodland Memorial Park Foundation. Today I am the voice of not just my own family, but the voice of many family members which are mostly elderly and not able to come voice their grief and disappointment. These are United States citizens who have paid their debt to society as well as to the government of the United States. They are humiliated to see the final resting place of their loved ones looking like a dump site. They ask me how. How could this happen? How could the government turn away and let this happen to any cemetery? Woodland Cemetery is a majority of Black, Hispanic, and some Caucasian. They ask me, why is Woodland Cemetery being discriminated against? At this particular time in their life, Woodland Cemetery was a beautiful cemetery to bury their loved ones and to have eternal lasting peace. Furthermore, Woodland Cemetery was declared full, and Mr. Glenn Wong was still taking money from these hardworking citizens on a false pretense just to satisfy his own selfish needs. My response to these family members is that it is unfortunate that this matter has been ongoing for 6 years. Now I hope it will be resolved in their lifetime to give them comfort and peace of mind knowing that justice has prevailed over this catastrophic problem which has devastated many lives. But I also assured them that this will be resolved in my lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. Felicia Ford. Felicia will be followed by Michael Hunt.
Felicia Ford. I come to talk about the farm issue today. I won't be talking about Woodlawn. I was raised in South Central, as they call it, basically Compton. That's where my family members, my grandparents stayed, and we had farmland there. And we had chickens, roosters, and hens. We had a backyard that was big enough to put an apartment complex on. I want to say that greed overrules a warm heart, and I'm disturbed by how they are being treated. I want to read a couple of scriptures to you, and it states in Proverbs 3:27, "Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thy hands to do it." And another scripture, "A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent." So the owner of this property that is asking for an outrageous amount from these farmers, for them to have this farmland, I can tell you, God is looking down on you and he is not happy. I want to tell you that this land don't belong to us. We will all come and go. Some of us are here for a short time and a long time. I will also say to you that the farmers have labored hard with exhaustions with their hands. And when you plant a seed, you expect it to grow into harvest. And you wait patiently to see the fruit of your labors so that you can feed your children. I will be back next week. I'm going to do closure to the Woodlawn Cemetery matter, and I come back to thank individuals. But I want to say just briefly, quickly to Mr. Villaraigosa, you have a very warm heart. And anytime a man is elected to this city, and the first thing that he says is that he comes to help God's children, that's a man of a warm heart. And I thank you for my time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hunt?
Good morning. We're back on the record. I finally got a letter from Mark Brown, which I really disagree with. On January 31st, 2006, you guys declared Venice Beach a free speech zone. But yet you guys would argue in court that it didn't have any constitutional, that the Constitution wasn't valued in it. You guys went to court and said, you guys proclaimed my constitutional rights, but after denying it a free speech zone, which was protected up under the First Amendment. Number two, the only justification for the government that have prior restraints over speech zone is must be compelling government interest. And it has to be a compelling interest that the government has to say that we have an interest in this area. I don't think you guys have no interest in shea butter because it comes from Africa and it's aged over 365 years. The second thing is that I think I've given everybody a lesson last week. Everybody likes to be respected, but respect comes from the Ninth Circuit with the panel right here, because you guys don't respect common law. And the common law says that everything protected up under a free speech zone is the First Amendment, which I have a right to be there. I was protected for the last 5 years, and now all of a sudden I'm not protected by the free speech zone or the First Amendment. And Mr. Bernard Parks was sued for this once before in 1997. And Mr. Weiss, I live in your district, and your chief of staff said that I couldn't even talk to you. I didn't understand that one, but that's okay, because I can talk to Diane Watson, my congressperson. Mayor Varagosa, we coming. Me, Maxine Waters, and Diane Watson, we're coming to your office.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Belinda Jo Wright, followed by Gracie Taylor.
Hello, hi everyone. My daughter's journal, I have my daughter's journal, she got an A. She's talking about something about a tandy pot, I don't know how she pulled that off. But in the front it says, I drew the cottage with the silver and gold stars hanging in the silent windows because it made me think of my great-grandmother's house, how the windows had little stars hanging from the windows. I could really get a good picture in my head of how it looked. The stars represent the silent windows. Stars stand out so loudly, but they don't make a sound. Hope everyone has a nice Memorial Day weekend. It's when we celebrate and honor our American soldiers and what they do. And it's supposed to really be a time when we honor people who serve and do things really great for our country.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wright. Gracie Taylor, then followed by our last speaker, Mr. Jim McQuiston.
Well, good morning or good afternoon. My name really is Gracie Gray, but I deleted the Gray because I'm no longer with him, not since '75. I have heard the comments from the people that are sitting here. And it's an honor to speak to you all. Some I have met and some I have not met. I have been coming here since Pat Russell's days. I worked on the John Ferrara and a few others during the Model Neighborhood program. I am a woman that also came from a farm. 8 brothers, 15 children in all. And I had a brother that sat right out there in the front when they had the Shriners Convention. I am the baby sister. I worked in programs trying to keep other people's children safe. I have been thrown out of so many apartments until it is pathetic. The reason? Slum landlords. The last time I came down here, the young man told me, he said, you come and you sit here and wait, and I will see if I can get someone to help you to find an apartment. I'm 20-some years short of 100. I work for LA Unified School District. I work for the Parks, Recreation. I work for EDD. I'm not getting my unemployment. My Social Security. You know why? A Latino female is using it. God said, if you break one of the rules, you have broken them all. And this is one thing that I want to leave with you all. In the beginning, the Word was with God, and the Word is God. There was an order to the governor, from the governor, that everyone should go back to their own country and be registered in their own country. If a person is not registered, how can you find your crooks? How can you find certain people that is wanted by other agencies? These things I don't believe in because I'm a hurt woman. Everything I have has been taken from me and my children here in the United States, here in Los Angeles. I have two sons. One was teaching before he got out of high school, Joseph Ugana.
Gracie, if
I
I could
don't
just
know
ask
where
you to
he is.
conclude, but
The
thank
other
you.
son is Winfred Bocage. His father was traveling around with Maxine Waters and Hans' sister. He passed away. The only flag we got was off of his coffin. I have not got too much help at all. I am sleeping down there in Skid Row. That shouldn't be. Why?
Thank you very much for being here today, Miss. Thank you very much, Gracie. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. We have unfortunately a 2-minute time period, and we've gone over that, so thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. McQuiston. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston, East Hollywood Community Association. I did a little calculation on the South Los Angeles farm. If that's converted to manufacturing, the payroll, the minimum payroll increase will be $20 million a year. So we have to think, what do we want? Jobs for people? $20 million a year minimum, and that doesn't include the fees that there's paid by the property taxes either. The time is come for that to be developed. The property is worth a minimum of $60 million developed. We need that kind of development in that area. People need jobs.
Thank you very much, Mr. McQuiston. That closes public comment. I'd like to make sure that we send item number 13 forthwith that we've approved thus far. First order of business, those items called special.
Next item, Madam President, is item number 14, and that was called special by Councilmember Parks.
Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to ask the ITA staff to come up. Colleagues, this is an issue that has been driven by the TGS committee and specifically by Mr. Weiss when he was the chair. But I don't know if all of us know all the things that are going on as it relates to our current facilities that are Wi-Fi equipped. The motion that went forward was for the future that we ensure that all new buildings that we lease will have that capabilities. And so maybe you can give a little overview of where we are currently, and we'll also pass out to each council member a document that was put together that shows all of the locations within your district, what libraries and a variety of other facilities.
Good morning. Good afternoon, council members. Mark Wolf, Assistant General Manager with the Information Technology Agency. ITA has begun an effort to unwire the city of Los Angeles and establish a digital community. It will improve government efficiency, enhance economic development, and help close the digital divide. We're working collaboratively with city departments such as the library and CRA and many others, as well as external partners like LA Unified School District to further this effort. The city has today a number of pilot efforts underway. For example, the Marvin Browdy Center, Van Nuys Civic Center currently has a Wi-Fi zone implemented in Councilman Cardenas's area. In addition, the library department has installed Wi-Fi services for the public in 50 libraries out of 72, and the rest are targeted to be completed by the end of this calendar year. In addition, other city facilities like the Los Angeles Convention Center and Los Angeles airports has Wi-Fi services also available. ITA, as I mentioned, is working collaboratively with many external stakeholders, including LA Unified School District. We are having ongoing discussions about expanding the Wi-Fi services at the Van Nuys Civic Center out to Van Nuys High School. In addition, we're working collaboratively with the Los Angeles Police Department on the Jordan Downs project and working with LAUSD on that effort as well. In the future, there are a number of public spaces in municipal buildings which would benefit by having wireless access. It would allow the public to be able to access the internet as well as to access city e-government services. So this is a great service to the public and can also benefit city staff. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And colleagues, I'm going to add a verbal motion so that hopefully everyone will agree that we cause this to become an established policy that the City of LA, that in all new municipal buildings and all new leased city facilities shall have Wi-Fi services, both indoor and outdoor, for both the internet and e-government services, and that we also add as a policy that these services be provided for city staff in key indoor spaces in these new facilities to ensure our mobile workforce and other staff has easy access to the city systems. And so that's, I'd like to say verbally, we should have that to the clerk as to the written statement so you have it to, specifically. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Labange, followed by Mr. Reyes. Colleagues, we do have a minimum on our quorum right now of 10, so ask that please everyone stay in the council chambers to complete our business today.
Thank you, Mr. Parks, for calling this special. Another friendly amendment. I want an A, B, C, D, and an F rating on city buildings as it relates to technology. You know how Heal the Bay does things? So a friendly amendment. I got a second of that, so it would help us guide ourselves. Thank you very much. So just a simple, develop something so we know we're hitting the guidepost. Next, I like you sitting right there, right? But you have all that technology. When could you have technology that could connect us right with maps, graphs, and documents that we could get off computers right now? When could you have that here for council so the public could be more empowered to knowledge on issues like that?
Council member, we have the technology in place today with the mapping information, so we'll work with the Office of the City Clerk to,
and the President's office, right there. Lastly, I know Ed at Big Screen or whoever the guy is on TV, can you get a big screen there? Because sometimes that breaks it up. Let me know what it costs and we'll see what we could do to go through the budget process, because I think we could improve on technology so that people could see when you look at a map, or even when they have it, someone from Van Nuys, it's sometimes split up. Thank you very much. 1 minute, 46
Thank you so much. Mr. Reyes.
Yeah. Just real quick, yesterday we had a committee meeting in Lincoln Heights. We talked about the graffiti and cameras. Quite a few people were approaching me in terms of how we deal with a stronger vigilance to minimize graffiti and the tagging. The technology you're speaking to, will it give us that capacity in the future to interface with the vehicles, municipal building, and the community so we can start having a stronger sense of vigilance? MacArthur Park did wonders. Now I know we're rolling it out in Hollywood and other places. Are we sure we have that capacity in the future, given the systems that you're speaking to?
Yes, Council Member, we're working very closely with the Los Angeles Police Department and the Fire Department on the public safety type applications that you're speaking of. In regards to bandwidth capabilities, as we move forward with this initiative and look at expansion citywide, we'll be working very closely with the private sector to ensure from an engineering standpoint that we're able to support all of the applications that not only internal that can benefit city government, but that can also facilitate access for businesses as well as citizens throughout our community.
So we have walls that are constantly being tagged. We had a camera there, it could have a direct link to the officers and to whoever else is monitoring or managing that program.
That is correct, and I believe the Jordan Downs project is an innovative project that is going to be looked at across the nation, and it will be a valuable experience for us to really look at how we can leverage technology like that to improve public safety and improve the quality of life for the citizens in that area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. That item is now before us. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Next item?
Can we have that forthwith and also number 13 for Ms. Perry forthwith?
Yes, we did for Ms. Perry already, thank you. I think item number 36 was based on a card from Mr. McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston, East Hollywood Community Association. This is the second problem in our neighborhood dealing with street vacations where one property owner either owns both sides of the street or somehow the other side is county or state-owned. And the problem is that this is a main street. If someone owned both sides of Sunset Boulevard on a block, according to state law, he could close Sunset Boulevard off. This is something which has to be taken care of by transportation and by planning, because here is a case where it didn't even go to committee. It came directly here because the property owner owned both sides of the street on a short block. And it's a major block. It's next to Home Depot. Many, many people use that street. And here it comes. We're going to go spend a lot of money on this, going through our procedure, whereas no one wants this street closed except maybe the property owner. And according to state law, it's just sliding right through. We do have to work on the local ordinances to take care of this situation, because this is the second time in Hollywood this has happened. The first time we could not stop it. The second time we didn't even get a notice on it. We have to do something about this if we want to keep our city to have any kind of decent quality of life.
Thank you, Mr. Quist. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Labange.
To initiate proceedings, there'll be several hearings in the future that you could comment on. This is a street west of Western Avenue near the Assistance League, which does a great job in assisting all of us. Anyway, thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, colleagues. That item is now before us. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Madam President, the next item is called special R in the special meeting. Do you wish to recess the regular meeting?
Recess
and
the
go
general meeting and go to our special.
First item called special is item number 2.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Padilla.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, this is item number 2 from the special agenda, a resolution for the City Council to take a formal position of support in favor of Proposition 82 that's on the June 6th ballot. It's known as the Preschool for All initiative. I know that the time is getting late in the day, so just to be brief, this is a measure that would create a funding mechanism to allow for preschool opportunities for every parent, for every child who chooses to enroll in preschool in California. As has been quoted often, and many of us know, study after study shows that a positive preschool experience prepares kids for kindergarten and for learning. Their grades are better, their educational attainment levels are better, better education, better higher education rates mean for better jobs and better for all of us and a better economy. So I'd ask for your support of this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Rosendahl, followed by Mr. Wiesar.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mr. Padilla, for your leadership on this and putting the motion before us. And, you know, look, the more support you give to children, the stronger they're going to be when they grow up. Some of the cheap ads by the opposition on Prop 82 talk about, well, do you want to give rich people a chance to have public money. Well, it's the rich people are going to be paying for it to begin with. It's a tax on people who make over $400,000 a year, and of course they should benefit in it just like everybody else. But if all children get this opportunity, the right foot forward, they're given nutritional support, they're given guidance, they're given the baseline of life in that preschool program. Prop 82 is a perfect way in which we can do it. So not only do I urge my colleagues to support it right now, but also when you go to the polls, please vote yes for Prop 82. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Mr. Weishaupt.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Let me thank Councilmember Padilla and the other co-sponsors of bringing this to our attention. You know, one of the biggest issues that this country faces today is closing the achievement gap amongst students, amongst groups of students. It's no hidden secret that blacks and Latinos and students from low-income areas do not perform as well as other students in education. But part of the solution is to make sure that they have equal footing when they begin. If not all students have access to preschool, some of them are going to begin a lot more advanced than others. And it's Latinos and African Americans and students from low-income communities that don't have access to preschool as compared to other groups. This will go a long way towards closing the achievement gap and making sure that students are beginning on equal footing when they begin their education. Finally, I want to just mention, in terms of economics, the RAND study told us that for every $1 invested in high-quality preschool for all, we would save about $2.62 million in reduced costs to society. Economists should be looking at this and saying, what is the best investment we can make in society? It's investing in our young children at their youngest age. I have a 4-year-old daughter right now in preschool, and believe me, when she comes home and I see her love for learning, her interpersonal skills developing, it's a wonderful feeling. And I just think about those children who are not having preschool. We need to make preschool available for all children in California. This is a very important initiative. Thank you for bringing it to our attention, and let's go full swing and support this as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weishaupt. I just want to add my words as well to Mr. Padilla for introducing this. I think a lot of us have been talking about the importance of this particular item. As a parent, a recent parent, my son starts preschool in 3 weeks, and the ability for all parents to be able to afford to go to a quality and affordable preschool, and we know the difference it can make in our kids. So with that, I think a lot's been said. I'd like to ask Madam Clerk to open the roll on this item. Close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
That item's been approved. Thank you. Forthwith, definitely forthwith. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Next item, Madam President, is item number 3 on the special meeting. I believe that was called special for a card.
Yes, Ms. Sylvia Lynn Hawkins.
As we continue to get down unemployment during Hardcore 58 states war down to 2.7%, we must not begin hiring Asia, Indian people, ruling job position, brought here illegally and hired. But they are walking over United States of America 18 race people that are legal here. Senator Wesley and Senator Al-Tadeen is not the right choice for the next California governor choice. We must not follow these men that are trying to stop all women in the office position that are United States of America.
Ms. Hawkins, this is regarding a tract map?
Yes.
If you could have your comments towards the tract
These
map.
are the continuation of their dead leader, who was Dr. Turner, Jim Jones, Tammy Faye Baker, all on Channel 40, Shamrock, Swagger, ex-Governor Davis, Wendy Davis, Lynn Swan, Michael Jackson, Janice Jackson, Michael Jordan, plus Kobe Bryant. These fake people are moving into these governor office positions during the worst timing of their life, which they are now trying to do in the middle of hurting, anger, hatred, suffering, crying, since their leaders are now dead. We must not begin hiring these fake seeds or these fake people that are here in the United States of America, since my great power has destroyed their leaders, but they are back to kill. Thank you very much. My name is Ms. Sylvia Hawkins.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins. Madam Clerk, open the roll on this item, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
10 ayes.
Thank you. Next item.
And that concludes the special meeting, Madam President.
We will adjourn the special meeting, go back to our regular meeting.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Those will be posted and referred.
The excuses on the desk. Councilmember Perry requests to be excused Tuesday, May 30th, to leave at 10:45 for city business. A motion is required.
Mr. Rosendahl moves and Mr. Labange seconds.
Councilmember Cardenas requests to be excused Wednesday, June 14th, to leave at 12:30 for city business, and Wednesday, June 21st for personal business. Those both meet council policy.
He'll be excused.
Councilmember Weiss requests to be excused Tuesday, June 6th for city business. A motion is required.
Yes, Mr. Weissar moves, Mr. Cardenas seconds.
And that clears the desk, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have any announcements today, colleagues? Announcements? Mr. Labange.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to announce that my intern for this spring, Mike McQuarrie, graduate of UCLA, is going back to private service in engineering. Give him a big hand, and thank you, Michael, for your volunteers and welcome. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, members.
Thank you. An announcement?
Two of them, one, the Brentwood 100th anniversary parade is taking place on Sunday, and I'll be in the parade and waving to our constituents in Brentwood, and we congratulate Brentwood for 100 years. Also on Monday, I'm putting on my veterans hat. Monday is Memorial Day to remember our veterans, those who have given their lives for our great country. I'll be over at the Veterans Campus property near Brentwood, and I urge all veterans to show up for that, and let's salute our heroes, those who have given their life for their country on Memorial Day this coming Monday. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Another announcement, Mr. Reyes?
Yes, I just wanted to invite the folks in Northeast and everyone on Cypress and Pepper. We have a very neighborhood veterans celebration. We improved an island. We have veterans from the Cypress Park neighborhood step up. We go back to World War II. It's great to see a lot of our veterans from the neighborhoods actually don their uniforms and talk about the sacrifices they made throughout the wars in Cypress Park, Lincoln Heights. So invite everyone to come out on Pepper and Cypress at 10 a.m. I just want to also thank the city family. Yesterday we had our town hall meeting in Lincoln Heights. We had over 18 departments there. All talked about their services. We had the ability to engage community folks with the actual decision makers in the departments. It's good to place a name with a face and a phone number, and a lot of great dialogue. So thank you so much, and we'll continue working together.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reyes.
Adding to the Memorial Day festivities, this morning we had a celebration on the Hyperion Bridge, which is a memorial to our veterans of World War I, the war to end all wars, unfortunately. But it was a wonderful celebration with the fire department, fire company 56, Engine 56, Task Battalion 2, and Heavy Rescue 56, and the firefighters, including Isaac Burks, a Marine, and Captain Jay Butler, a Marine, both served in Vietnam. And also on Monday at 10 a.m. at Hollywood Hills Forest Lawn, there's a public ceremony for Memorial Day that the public is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to have one announcement in behalf of Mrs. Perry. She asked you to join her with the Gallery Row Organization for music on Central Avenue. There'll be live music by Kilsonic and also special performance by local musicians under the name of Grunt. It's Saturday, May 27th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Central Avenue Jazz Park, which is Central Avenue and 42nd Place.
And two additional announcements on behalf of Mr. Zine. An announcement that the annual Canoga Park Memorial Day Parade begins in Canoga Park, same route, beginning at 10 a.m. And for the residents of the northeast end of the San Fernando Valley, we're having a first, hopefully annual event at the Pioneer Cemetery in Sylmar. We have some lots in that historical location for cleanup and a wonderful tribute to soldiers from eras gone by in Sylmar. That begins at 11:30.
Thank you. Mr. Labange?
Yeah, thank you. I know Mr. Rosendahl, a very special citizen in Los Angeles, is recovering from surgery out there in Brentwood. I I know you want to take the lead. And
Madam President, to do this. One of our great first ladies of this great city of Los Angeles, Nancy Daly Reardon, is home from her surgery at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, Maryland. We are giving her our love, the City Council, the city leadership, and all of the citizenry in the city for a speedy and healthy recovery. We love you, Nancy. You've been a major part of our leadership in this great city, and we look forward to many more years of that with you. God bless you, and you're in our prayers.
And
Thank you,
the work
all of
she
us.
did, all of us, for the children and the many county programs that she helped get involved with countywide.
It's just amazing what she has done, and now with LACMA as its chair and doing everything to do with the arts, going from foster kids to art, she's truly a leader. Besides a companion and partner with the Honorable Richard J. Reardon, our great mayor of the city. What a dynamic duo, and we're praying that they have that dynamic duo for at least the next 30 or 40 years. Dick was riding his bicycle yesterday, so he's out there, and he's certainly an inspiration to all of us as well. I have another announcement, if I could, another subject. I just want to announce that yesterday I cut the ribbon for the Venice Pier. It's back in service. You can go fishing there over Memorial Day weekend. I want to thank Rec and Park and Department of Engineering and all the groups that quickly got it together to kick off the summer at the Venice Pier. Come on down, do some fishing, do some walking in Venice. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend. And thanks again, Rec and Park, for your leadership.
Thank you very much.
If I might add to that list, Mr. Rosendahl, please, a thank you to former Councilmember Ruth Galanter, who adamantly fought for the preservation and the restoration of the pier when its future was in question. After that fire, there was a lot of dialogue about just demolishing the pier, not having to worry about it anymore. And I can bet, we want to bet big money that as you cut that ribbon yesterday, it was in your heart and in your mind and those of everybody at that ceremony that the right decision was made to
Not
to
only
keep
that, and I appreciate my colleague for bringing it up, I had Ruth Galanter right on my side.
All right.
She and I cut that ribbon together, and we wouldn't have even been there if it wasn't for Ruth's leadership of bringing that pier back into place and making it what it is. And so the combination of Rec and Park and engineering and Ruth's leadership, it was an honor for me to have her standing by my side as we cut the ribbon. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you. I know we're, I think, ready now for adjourning motions. If we could ask everyone to stand in the council chambers.
Thank you very much, Council President. It's with great sadness and honor that we recognize the men and women, the fallen soldiers, sailors, and Marines since Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom has been underway. I'd like to read off the names of those Angelenos who gave their life in this effort. Again, these are the fallen soldiers, sailors, and Marines. Neil C. Roberts, Evan Asa Ashcroft, Eric A. Ayon, Jimmy J. Arroyo Ave, John W. Marshall, Trinidad R. Martinez, Juan de Dios Araña Garcia, Eddie E. Manyweather, Milton M. Monzon Jr., Abraham D. Peña Medina, Carlos Arellano Pandura, Luis A. Figueroa, Corey R. Guerin, Benjamin R. Gonzalez, Jose Gutierrez, Edgar E. Lopez, Victor R. Liu, Francisco A. Martinez Flores, Vaeshna Moy, Carlos Pineda, Felipe D. Sandoval Flores, Dion M. Whitney. May they rest in peace, and we just want to recognize them for their valor and their willingness to fight for our country and for the freedom we believe in. Thank you.
All members.
Thank you, yes. Thank you very much. Mr. LaBonge.
Thank you, members. Muriel Desmond, who lived to be 93, a great big family. She was preceded in her death by Albert Desmond, who for 40-plus years worked at the water and power, the electrical side. The Desmonds lived in Los Feliz, had 11 children, a great family. I used to see her at Mass, and in later years she was blind, but she could still recognize me through my voice. I was a classmate with her son, Alan, and we used to, as kids, go play in their big house. that they had, that Al was able to afford back then. Muriel Desmond was a great member of the Mother Good Counsel Parish in Los Feliz, a wonderful mother. She lived a long and fruitful life. Her services are tomorrow at Mother Good Counsel, I believe at 10 a.m. in Los Feliz. As we adjourn to Muriel Desmond.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaBonge. Mr. Parks.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm doing this in behalf of Mrs. Perry. We'd like to adjourn in memory of Catherine Dunham, who passed away in her sleep at her home in New York City on Sunday, May 21st. She was born in Joliet, Illinois in 1909, became one of the first African Americans to attend the University of Chicago, where she earned a bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree in anthropology. She was supported by the Rosenwald Fellowship. She completed groundbreaking work on Caribbean and Brazilian dance anthropology as a new academic discipline, and in 1931, she established her first dance school in Chicago. She became one of the most successful dance careers in American and European theater in 1934, which led to the leading roles in musical operas and cabarets throughout the world. In the late 30s, she established her own dance school, touring company in New York City. Catherine Durham troupe was critically acclaimed throughout the 1940s while performing more than 100 original works choreographed by Mrs. Durham. Throughout her illustrious career as one of the world's most respected dancers, choreographers, and teachers, she used her talent, fame, and resources to call public attention to the social injustice at home and abroad. In 1993, at the age of 82, she took on a 47-day hunger strike to help shift public opinion towards America's relationships with Haiti, resulting in the return of Haiti's first duly elected president. In 1969, she created a community-based arts education program in East St. Louis called the Catherine Durham Centers for the Arts and Humanities. The center seeks to provide Metro East residents with the opportunity to witness and participate in all of the fine performing and cultural arts. She's viewed as an intellectual, an artist, a humanitarian, whose contributions have earned her many coveted awards over the years, including the Presidential Medal of Art, the Kennedy Center Honor, the French Legion of Honor, the Southern Cross of Brazil, the Grand Cross of Haiti, NAACP Lifetime Achievement Award, the Lincoln Academy Laureate, and the Urban League Lifetime Achievement Award. She was one of 75 women who lived. She was one of 75 women whose lives were celebrated in the book I Have a Dream.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parks. Mr. Rosendahl.
Leonard Martner passed away. First time I met him, his wife was pushing him in a wheelchair and he had oxygen on. He died on May 18th at St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica. He was born in 1917 in New York City. He attended the Peekskill Military Academy and MIT. He moved to Los Angeles to work for Hughes Aircraft, where he later left to start his own venture capital firm. He was an advisor and lecturer at UCLA's Anderson School of Business. He's survived by his lovely wife, Marguerite, and I must say that she did everything in her power for years as the primary caregiver for her husband, a daughter, Karen, 3 stepchildren, Louis, Deborah, and David, and 4 grandchildren, Colin, Justin, Maxine, and Kevin. May he rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Madam Clerk, call the roll. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Drive safely this weekend, all on Memorial Day.